Welcome, everyone. I'm Bill Falsey, Chair of the United Way of Anchorage Board of Directors, and I am thrilled to be here hosting today's event. Let's begin by recognizing the contributions, innovations, and contemporary perspectives of the Dena'ina people on whose traditional lands we live and work. As we hold this event, our attention is on the natural and economic disaster still unfolding in Western Alaska. Our friends at the Alaska Community Foundation, together with the Rasmussen Foundation, have established a disaster recovery fund to address immediate needs at this critical time. To learn more about the Western Alaska Disaster Recovery Fund, you can visit the link on your screen. For our fellow Alaskans to be able to rebuild stronger, we'll take help from across the state. But for now, thank you for joining us today to launch the Unite to Thrive campaign for Anchorage. For a building to be stable for the long term, it needs a solid foundation. And the same is true in a community. That's why we focus on the building blocks of a good quality of life: education, financial stability, and health. And it's why we need you. We need you to continue to be the game changers, the hand raisers, those who will step up and do what is needed, because not a one of us can do this work alone. But as we get started, I want to extend our sincere thanks to ConocoPhillips Alaska, presenting sponsor of today's event. Your commitment to making life better for all Alaskans is amazing. We are honored to be in partnership with you for now over 2 decades and appreciate everything you do for our community and our state. Thank you also to Providence, Alaska for your sponsorship today. United Way's ability to develop innovative ways to address health and well-being in Anchorage comes in part from our strategic partnership with Providence. And for providing your lunch coupon today, a hearty thanks to Subway of Alaska, Frito-Lay, and Coca-Cola. And now I want to share with you a video message from Anchorage Fire Chief Doug Schrage.
Be a part of United Way's community campaign. Support the efforts that bring lasting change to our community. Each contribution, no matter the size, will be amplified to help more local families achieve well-being.
Unite to thrive.
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 Well, thank you, Chief Schrage, for that message and for being a leader in our community. And now, let's welcome United Way of Anchorage President Clark Halverson. I have had the privilege to work with Clark for a few years now, and I've been impressed with how he's been able to get to the heart of the problems facing our community and work collaboratively to solve them. Clark knows that to enact systemic change, we need to adopt whole system approaches to improving health and supporting healthy places where people live and play. Clark also has a lot of experience in Alaska, both living and playing. Some of his strongest memories of growing up include hearing his father preach at the church on Jewel Lake Road, spending his time on the Kenai Rivers, and fishing out of Homer. Welcome, Clark.
Thank you, Bill, and thank you, Chief, for your commitment to unite so that all might thrive. I'm happy to be with you today and really so grateful for all that you do to support our community. I want to begin by sharing a message from this year's campaign chair, John Sims, President of NSTAR Natural Gas. John couldn't be with us today, but he sends his best with these words just for you.
Hi everyone, my name is John Sims. I'm the president of NSTAR Natural Gas Company and this year's United Way of Anchorage Community Campaign Chair. For decades, NSTAR has worked together with United Way, and for the last 17 years, I've had the pleasure of being a part of that work. Over the last 2.5 years, the pandemic and its fierce economic fallout have intensified the need for United Way's support in our communities. We've seen this firsthand at NSTAR with thousands of customers struggling to pay their bills. But we've also seen our communities respond in hard times with grit, ingenuity, and compassion, and even thrive, thanks to organizations like United Way. At NSTAR, we're proud to support United Way through events like Walk for Warmth, the Warm Hearts, Warm Homes Fund, and by kicking off our own company-wide United Way Campaign Week to keep our neighbors housed and warm with help on utilities and rent. We've also joined United Way, its partners, and our neighbors in developing a 5-year strategic plan. We've listened and learned to seek out advice and direction from parents and leaders in our underserved communities. Why? because that is the most effective way to target our resources, break down barriers, and support opportunities for all who call Anchorage home. As business and civic leaders, we know that when we look out for one another, whether it's in our businesses, neighborhoods, or schools, we are all better off. A supportive community culture builds prosperity and helps foster healthy and vibrant places to live, work, and play. A key to building prosperous and vibrant communities is investing in United Way and its partners. As leaders in Anchorage, we have a vested interest in this town and its future. Together, we can underwrite and accelerate that interest with our own individual donations and workplace campaigns. That's why the theme of our community campaign continues to be Unite to Thrive. The thousands of us who will unite to thrive in this campaign represent a diversity of views, politics, and passions. Where we find our common ground is in our desire to help our neighbors and to make Anchorage a better community. A community of capable, healthy, and financially stable individuals and families who care for one another and our collective well-being. I urge you to please give to United Way. Let's unite so that all may thrive.
Thank you, John. Your leadership, your unwavering commitment to our community is an inspiring example for all of us. When we dream united, we see the future that we want to build. When we inspire our community united, we can turn these dreams into reality. When we achieve united, we give our children the education they deserve. When we support united, we help our friends and neighbors find jobs worthy of their talents. When we share united, we learn just how strong our shoulders are. When we give united, we invest in a better tomorrow, where children succeed from cradle to career. People get jobs and are financially secure. People are healthy, and basic needs are met, even during the toughest of times, like these past 2 years. And when we live united, we put opportunity in the hands of everyone across Anchorage. In a time when things seem to be moving faster at home, work, and throughout our day, I want to ask you to slow down just for a few minutes and imagine with me Anchorage, our community post-COVID, after the impacts of this pandemic are far behind us. I'm not talking about restaurants filled with waiting lists again, or our schools starting in person with our kids with no masks, or halls filled with music and friends. I'm talking about an Anchorage where everyone, regardless of race or zip code, has the opportunity and resources necessary to thrive. Let that sink in for a minute. Every person in Anchorage, it doesn't matter who you are, where you live, or where you work, every person has the opportunity to reach their full potential. This is not some unrealistic goal. It's a real opportunity for lasting change, and it's within our grasp. In order to achieve it, we have to move past some of the stubborn obstacles that have impeded our progress for generations. A budget-starved education system, a lack of living wage jobs, unequal access to health care. You know the challenges as well as I do, and it will take a lot of hard work to achieve this goal. We're not afraid of hard work in Anchorage. We live in a state that was built on persistence and true grit. We're also a city built on unity that drives lasting change. Together with you, we're working towards this new reality, where opportunity is in the hands of all of our neighbors. Big-hearted people like you have built a strong, united way, one that's capable of responding to any challenge that comes our way. When the world shut down and our businesses were forced to close their doors, the Restaurant and Hunger Relief Program stepped in, keeping more than 700 of our restaurant workers employed, and we were able to deliver more than 340,000 meals to the folks that needed it most in Anchorage. Faced with the devastating economic impacts of the pandemic, your United Way of Anchorage distributed more than $26 million in rental assistance to help keep people who were struggling or who had lost their jobs in their homes. Together, we've helped soften the blow for thousands across Anchorage. And together, we will continue to be there to solve the next tough challenge. The pandemic also shone a bright spotlight on the inequities that already existed in Anchorage and across the United States. When we were tasked with raising our city's graduation rate, we saw certain groups continue to be left behind. While working to ensure that everyone had sufficient income to cover their basic needs, we found that those furthest from opportunity were disproportionately people of color. And when we looked at the hospitalizations and death rates among BIPOC communities, we saw alarmingly high rates that again call us to address the root causes of inequities across Anchorage. This is not a challenge that our board is shying away from. Rather, they have worked hard to build their understanding of equity, diversity, access, and inclusion, and have built a new strategic plan that is challenging us to do more and to do better, reaching the people in our community who need us most. Equity will be the driving force in all of our work, not just because it's a buzzword at times, but because it's the key to unlocking the full potential of our community. I'm excited today to share with you more of the amazing work that's been accomplished with your United Way investments this past year. Through our Home for Good program, we're providing supportive housing to many of the people that we see every day who are struggling with severe mental illness, lifetimes of trauma, addictions, and physical disabilities. In this program, we support them to break the cycle of prison, crisis care, and street life, to find a home and to stay in that home for good. Our new Cradle to Career Anchorage initiative is moving upstream, making sure that families and children have everything they need to succeed from the moment they're born until they launch careers of their own. Our healthcare navigators are helping thousands of Alaskans learn about and sign up for quality, affordable health insurance, expanding their access to care and offering protection from catastrophic medical bills. And Your Alaska 211 continues to answer tens of thousands of calls for help each year. It's often the first call for Alaskans who are facing a problem. From offering help to someone experiencing homelessness, to providing help for the care of a parent or a child, 211 is there for everyone. And a special thanks to our employee campaign coordinators who make workplace giving campaigns possible. Each program and service we're talking about relies on your leadership, your generosity and support. So thank you from everyone at United Way and every neighbor whose life you have touched. This year, we've set a new challenge for all of us to raise $5 million through our community campaign. We know it's an ambitious goal, but one we know we can accomplish together. When we unite to thrive, we will have a positive impact that none of us could have had on our own, building a whole community approach that seeks to fill the gaps in our broken social safety net. Thank you for uniting to thrive. Now let me turn it back over to Bill when I get set to welcome a very special guest.
Well, thanks, Clark. I am proud to be a member of the Board of Directors of the United Way of Anchorage, where we've been hard at work to help set United Way's vision for how we help everyone in the community. And United Way of Anchorage has been doing good for a long time, since 1956, in fact, when 18 community dynamos organized the United Good Neighbor Fund to improve lives and build a stronger Anchorage for everyone. Flash forward 66 years, and you'll find that our focus and commitment has not wavered, but the complexity and scale of issues and the scope of the work we undertake to improve lives across our city and across Alaska certainly have. But if there's one consistent operative word throughout the years, it is united. Today, United Way of Anchorage is an organization that connects private, public, and nonprofit sectors and operates across the continuum of education, financial stability, health, and homelessness to improve lives. And from this distinguished history, we've challenged United Way to become even better, even more inclusive and effective. And I want to give you a preview of some of the success metrics coming together for 2026. With your support and investments, we're working towards these goals for the benefit of this place that we call home. Education. We want to see 80% of third graders reading proficiently by 2026, up from 40% today. Third grade reading proficiency is key to student success because third grade is when kids transition from learning to read to reading to learn. By achieving that goal and providing support to all who struggle, we also hope to achieve our second education goal by 2026, having 90% of students graduate high school in 4 years. Homelessness. We continue our focus on the least fortunate in Anchorage, leveraging programs like Home for Good to stably house 200 of our neighbors who've been caught in the vicious cycle of prison, emergency care, and homelessness. Financial stability. We'll work to financially empower 10,000 Anchorage residents. That starts with access to services, job training, credit counseling, and money management programs. And finally, health. We'll support an additional 6,000 uninsured Alaskans gaining access to affordable, quality health care. These are ambitious goals, but only by setting our sights high and strategically investing in every corner of our community can we bring the change that we want to see. And now I want to focus on our goal concerning uninsured Alaskans. How do we actually do that? With the help of United Way's amazing healthcare navigators. And here is Clark to introduce you to one of them.
Thanks, Bill. We know that when people are healthy, they're more likely to succeed in school and work, building a better quality of life. Access to health care and health insurance is vital. Without it, not only is your health at risk, so is your financial stability. It's my pleasure to introduce Jennifer Brandt to you today, one of 10 United Way healthcare navigators, who's helping Alaskans across the state enroll in coverage. Welcome, Jennifer, and can you tell us a little bit about your work as a navigator?
I can. I'm really excited to be here. Thank you. So we have an incredible team of navigators, and as you said, we're all over the state. We've got navigators up in the North Pole, Fairbanks, down on the Kenai Peninsula, in the Mat-Su, and of course, mostly here in Anchorage. We help people sign up for health insurance through the federal marketplace, which was established by the Affordable Care Act back during the Obama presidency. And we also assist people, families and individuals, low-income families and individuals who qualify for Medicaid and our state's child health insurance program, Denali Kid Care. So as you know, we have a very big goal. We're going to try to get 6,000 Alaskans enrolled in a qualified health insurance plan on the federal marketplace by 2025. We are wonderfully well on our way to that goal. We've already helped over 1,000 Alaskans. So we help people by creating accounts for them on the federal marketplace. We go through the entire application and we help them get signed up. But also, too, we do a lot of community outreach and education. We go out and we're at all the festivals, all the events, career fairs, things like that, where we're just talking to community members about how to use their health insurance, what it is, really educating them on things like what's a deductible, what's a premium, what's a copay, some of those basic things. But we also do a lot of consumer support. So once we've worked with somebody and helped them sign up for health insurance, rarely do we only talk to them that one time. We always encourage them to call us back if they have any questions, run into anything that they just need help with. And we really form relationships with them because often we're meeting these people often in the worst times of their lives when they have just lost a job or they've had broken a leg. Get a lot of broken legs in Alaska on the ice, or like I said, have a lost income, things like that. But we also get to meet people during the joyous times of their life when they've had a baby, they've got a new job, so they get a promotion, so they call us, and we celebrate because they've got more money, but we do need to update their application. But all of our services are free, confidential, and we're completely unbiased. So again, I really want to reiterate the free, because I get a lot of people who say, how are you doing this for free? Well, we have generous funding throughout the state of Alaska. So.
Well, that's amazing. I love the goal of 6,000 Alaskans getting insurance over
Definitely.
the next few years. I'm curious, what are some of the challenges that people face that you work with in signing up and getting covered?
Sure. Honestly, I would say that the biggest thing that we face is fear and misinformation. People just don't understand health insurance, and oftentimes they'll put it off because they don't understand what it is, and there's a lot of misinformation. So perhaps they read something or they've talked to somebody who's had a bad experience, or often they haven't really looked into health insurance, particularly insurance through the federal marketplace in several years, and it's gotten so much better so much affordable. So, I've got one consumer. When I first started doing this work, I had a consumer. I work in the Mat-Su, and she came to us all the way from the Willow, Talkeetna area. She walked in. She was an older woman in her late 50s. She explained to me that her husband had just retired, and they had to adopt their grandson. And she needed to get health insurance. And she was physically, you could just see she was as stiff as a board. And so I sat her down. We go through an extensive sort of interview when we talk to our consumers. We really want to know what's going on in their lives, what brought them to us. And so after we went over everything, we ran some numbers. Not only did she get an incredible qualified health insurance plan for under $10, but her grandson qualified for Denali Kid Care. She sobbed in my office, and you could literally just see her shoulders drop. And now I tease that I have to start expensing Kleenex because I have so many people with happy tears who come in, who we get to work with. So, but yeah, we just really work on educating people about, the programs and how they can maximize their benefits and make things more affordable for themselves.
Well, that's amazing.
Yeah, it really
is there anything else you'd like to share with the group before we go?
I would. First of all, I want to say that we have an incredible team of navigators. I call them the collective hive mind of health insurance. Incredibly knowledgeable, friendly. We genuinely are passionate about what we do. If you've ever seen those insurance commercials with Flo, we're the Flows of health insurance. We love health. We need to get big buttons that say, I love health insurance. But also, too, I want to remind everybody that open enrollment is coming up. So that is the time that anybody who would qualify for the marketplace, if they don't have an offer of coverage through their employer, we can see if they qualify and get them enrolled. That starts November 1st and ends January 15th. But you want to make sure that you get into us by December 15th so that we can get you enrolled by the first of the year. And then always call 211 to connect with a navigator. We are very accessible. We will call you. We can do just over the phone. We can find a public place to do an in-person visit. We can also do a Zoom call. If pigeon messages were a thing, we'd figure that out too. So however we can help people, we try to do that.
Well, that's amazing. Thank you, Jennifer. And a big thank you, and we love our healthcare navigators too. They're out there every day working to ensure Alaskans can get answers and get covered. Now back to you, Bill.
Well, thank you, Clark, and thank you, Jennifer. Incredible work being done by the healthcare navigators. Now let's take a look at United Way's efforts around education. Cradle to Career Anchorage is a community-driven initiative supported by the United Way, which aims to ensure that Anchorage's children are safe, healthy, and nurtured by family and community and thrive at every stage of development. The initiative provides resources, connection, and community to eliminate disparities of outcomes for Anchorage families, especially those furthest from opportunity, so that every child can reach their full potential. We won't be content with some kids succeeding while others fall behind because they lack a fair chance, a helping hand, or a kind mentor. This summer, United Way and our partners held some amazing events to support families. A powerful coalition of community change agents brought together by the United Way, already making their mark. Cradle to Career Anchorage kicked off with a bang with a launch event that drew hundreds of families and began the Raising Cane's Summer Read Aloud Challenge to encourage reading to young kids. And we closed out the summer with our Read United Book Bash, where we got thousands of books into the hands of families. Our partners in education are continuing to give families support just like they always have, and we are here to support the whole journey from cradle to career. Our Back on Track program gives students the support they need in and out of school to help make sure they graduate with their friends. To date, it has helped more than 615 seniors graduate, and now you'll hear from one of those young graduates.
Hi, my name is Keone Sinelli, and I was a part of the United Way's Back on Track program for my whole high school career. Before I joined the Back on Track program, I wasn't attending school regularly. I had to stay home to help my mom take care of my grandma. She was in hospice care, and it really took a toll on me and my mom. My mom had to stop working, and as you can imagine, there was no money coming in for us anymore. I felt lost as to why I was not doing what other kids my age were doing. I was home all day and I wasn't seeing my friends. At this point, I thought I would never graduate. As time went by, my mom and grandma wanted me to start school again. I was excited because I just got back in touch with my close friends. I was planning on playing football, but as always, everything changed. Almost a week before I was gonna start school, my grandma passed. This changed my life. No more football, and I would miss a significant time in school because funerals in my culture are a long process. My mom needed help and I had to be there. When everything was done, I finally threw myself back into school. But adjusting after everything had happened was so hard. Nothing would work, so I stopped going to school again. Months passed and my mom was in contact with my school counselor. She connected us with this new program. It was a partnership between ASD and United Way. They had a day and night class at the Covenant House. It was called the Back on Track program. I started right away and the rest was history. As of today, I am a full-time college student and I am majoring in human services at UAA. My hope is to become a mental health counselor for at-risk youth. I want to help the community I grew up in thrive. I wouldn't be where I am today without the help United Way provided to the Back on Track program and all the great staff and friends I've met along the way. I can't describe the feeling of all the support I received. They believed in me and all I had to do was cross the finish line. The program and its classroom is a special place. After my time in the program and in the classroom, I had 2 relatives and 2 close friends get connected with the Back on Track program too and benefit from it. I do hope this program continues forever. I think the opportunities they provide are so beneficial. I am a product of those opportunities. I want to say thank you to the Back on Track program and the work United Way does to make programs like these possible. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you, Keone, for sharing your story. Your resilience and hard work is really an inspiration to all of us. We look forward to watching you graduate from UAA. I want to talk now a little bit about Home for Good, the program that's moving our most vulnerable, chronically homeless neighbors from the streets to stable housing. Let me tell you a little bit about Alice, an individual who has achieved great success with the Home for Good program. For Alice, her caseworkers came just when she needed them most. Alice firmly believes that if it wasn't for the Home for Good program and the team around her, she'd be 6 feet under today. For her, safety is the most important part of Home for Good. Being able to lock her door, being able to control who can come into her apartment, that allowed her to retake control of her life. She's sober now, headed back to school to be studying medical record keeping, and is looking forward to seeing her children again very soon. We're all so impressed with what Alice has been able to achieve with an apartment of her own. Here to talk with us today about the program is Casey Perkins. She's a housing specialist with one of our great partners, the South Central Foundation, working hard to get people into housing and, just as importantly, making sure that they stay housed. Welcome, Casey. Can you talk with us a little bit about why is it so important to have a home?
Thank you, Clark, and thank you guys for inviting me here. I don't mean to start with a cliche, but for us, there's the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and without those basic needs that all of us have getting met, it's difficult for anybody to want to start working or try to make connections with other people or build their self-esteem or even start living a more moral life, just like you were saying in Alice's story, which is an incredible story, and her team worked very hard with her, and Alice worked really hard to accomplish these goals. That safety is so important. Just being able, like you said, to lock your door and know that when you go to sleep, you're going to wake up safe it's crucial. And it goes on to the Housing First model as a whole. Without the Housing First model, you can't meet any of those needs. So with the Housing First model, there's also the supportive services side to that. And I don't think a lot of people are aware of that. It's not just us providing a home for these individuals. We're literally providing the home with supportive services to help them maintain it. So it really is an investment in people's lives to help them build a better quality of life for themselves. And those supportive services include medication management for mental illness, substance use treatment if wanted or desired, vocational services to help build employment, and any other needs you can think of. So.
That sounds like a lot of work. Can you share with us today a little bit about kind of what are the biggest challenges in getting some of these folks housed, and how do you work with them to kind of overcome those challenges?
So it's so hard to start with which is the most difficult part. There's so many different factors and barriers working with the individuals that we have the privilege of working with. The first one I think of is something a lot of people wouldn't think of, and that's documentation, such as an ID, social security card, birth certificate. Most of the individuals we work with all of them are homeless, and they don't have finances. So just being able to purchase an ID to get a job or housing, or a birth certificate to prove any of those things is just, it's only $75 roughly dollars altogether, but a lot of these individuals don't have that. So coming up with the resources to provide that is crucial. There's they don't know the history to even obtain those a lot of the times, so that's kind of difficult. And then once we get past that barrier, there's no credit. Like, they don't have credit, or they have bad credit, or they might have evictions on their record, and even if those evictions are years and years ago, they're still held against them. So it's really difficult to convince landlords to be willing to work with them. It is a lot easier with the Home for Good program because I think we've built a pretty good reputation working with them to show that we're not going to just leave them hanging, that they have those supportive services, and that we're there to help support the individual with whatever needs they have. I actually struggled too recently. We had an agency that we worked with where they were like, yes, we can work with you. Everything's going to be fine as long as they have no barriers. And those barriers are they can't have substance use issues, no mental health issues, no behavioral issues, no evictions. And I was like, there's no point in having this meeting because that's literally everybody we work with and that we're trying to help lift up in our community. And like I said, the past criminal history too, working through those has been a challenge, but again, with supportive services and us backing them, it makes it a lot easier for people to be more open-minded. Obviously, no income is a huge part to housing. If they don't have a job, they can't afford it. There's the fear that the landlords won't get money for that. So Home for Good has very much helped support a lot of our individuals with housing in that regard. There is the trauma. There's the trauma that they endure, and just breaking through the lack of trust that they have. That is a huge barrier. Most of the individuals we work with, their basic family unit has hurt them in such ways that it's hard for them to trust their family, let alone strangers. So that's kind of how we start that rapport building with them and break through the barriers and work with them to accomplish these goals is just getting them to trust us, showing up consistently, being a person in their life that is going to do what we say we're going to do and have that integrity with them. It happens sometimes rather quickly because they are at a point where they're willing to trust no matter what. And other individuals we work with, it could take months to a year for them to even start to trust that we really are here to help support them with no intention other than to help get them on their feet. Just encouraging them, providing those resources and showing them that they're not alone in this and that there's a lot of people that are out here wanting to help and provide those services. That's kind of it, yeah.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for what you do. You can really hear the passion in your voice, and it is truly life-changing work. So thank you again.
Thank you.
Next, I want to introduce Walt Bass, Vice President at ConocoPhillips Alaska and a United Way of Anchorage board member. ConocoPhillips is a longtime supporter of United Way, and they've just completed their community campaign again. Walt, will you say a few words?
Thanks, Clark. ConocoPhillips Alaska hosted a successful employee-led 2022 United Way campaign. We are honored to have generous employees that truly care for Alaska. As a company, we are proud to invest in our community. Working with several nonprofit organizations across Alaska and with the United Way of Anchorage, we have seen progress and impact throughout the state. Lives are changed because of this care, community collaboration, and continued investment. Running a community campaign at ConocoPhillips is about listening and responding to need. It is about helping our community. It is about giving back with financial support, talent, and/or time. But there are positive internal impacts as well. Simply put, a community campaign of this caliber brings a stronger team. The amount of time, planning, and thoughtfulness shows not only in the funds raised, but in the sense of community and employee synergy. When our employees engage with an organization or cause they have passion for, it brings joy. When they help this community, a place that they love, live, and work in, they are investing in their personal values, in the values that our company holds dearly. ConocoPhillips Alaska raised approximately $1 million to date during the community campaign, which includes our company's matching gift grants. The campaign this year had historic levels of involvement. 82% of ConocoPhillips employees gave to this campaign. We had engagement and encouragement from our top leadership. This is reflected in the amount of participation that we had, not just financially, but with the hundreds of employees that helped during the Day of Caring projects. I could not be prouder to be part of a company with such sincerely caring employees. As our core business investments are strategic, responsive, thoughtful, and planned for success, so too are the community investments ConocoPhillips has the honor to support. ConocoPhillips values its relationships with United Way of Anchorage. We know United Way is committed to serving Alaskans. Thank you from everyone at ConocoPhillips Alaska for your help getting your workplaces inspired, educated, and involved. I hope that you are successful in motivating your colleagues. I encourage you to keep talking about United Way's community campaign in your workplace. It can be fun to host a campaign with raffles, prizes, and contests. Let people know how it can help build strong teams while delivering transformational results in our community. ConocoPhillips Alaska is pleased to be presenting sponsor of this event. We are pleased to see change since we began our community campaign so many years ago. Best of luck, and remember, unite to thrive.
Clark, $1 million. There we go. We are off to a great start. Thank you, Walt and ConocoPhillips. What you have heard here today shows how your support of United Way creates real change in real people's lives and in our community. United Way works with our nonprofit partners, the municipality, foundations, corporations, volunteers, and donors like you to tackle some of our community's toughest challenges. And our success comes from joining forces and creating a system to ensure the right supports are available at the right time for all those who need them. So today, I'm asking every one of you to join me in supporting United Way. As community members, you're an essential part of this work, and work that is more important now than ever. As campaign leaders in your workplace, we're counting on you to take advantage of the resources we offer to support your efforts, starting with the keys to managing a successful campaign. Make sure everyone is given the opportunity to donate. Encourage a payroll deduction, where a little bit each pay period can add up to a sizable donation. Share the information you've heard here today. Share the videos you've seen here today. Make it fun for everyone, and help us hit that $5 million mark. That happens one donor, one payroll deduction, one pledge at a time, and it begins with everyone in this room. For more information about our workplace campaign and how to donate to United Way, visit our website at liveunitedanc.org. And I think that's it. Clark, did I miss anything?
That's great, Bill. I think if I could add one more thing to our conversation today, I'd ask folks to know without a doubt that your donations will build a stronger Anchorage and change the lives of thousands of our neighbors for the better, many of whose names you will never know. That's it for us today. I want to thank Bill for serving as our MC, and I also want to bring some other people on. Rachel Morse, our Senior Vice President, and Lincoln Pink, Director of Communications. Thanks for having us, being with us today and supporting this. I also want to thank our guests, Jennifer Brandt, Casey Perkins, and Walt Bass. Asked you to come on with us. And just a big thank you to you, our generous kickoff sponsors, ConocoPhillips Alaska, Providence, and Subway. Thank you so much. And live united!